And we're back. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. I'm here with my co-host, George McClellan. Sorry about the abbreviated morning, but we had a report from the floor, not CBS, not Fox News, not anybody, from the floor of what's really going on. And so
that's authenticity. It's authenticity. People believe it because they recognize it for what it is. Do you know what Bernie Sanders, Ron Paul, and Taylor Swift have in common?
no.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Last night, the convention, I watched every speaker till Paul Ryan comes out and gavels it out and somebody makes the motion to close the convention. I'm a junkie, I just tell you. I wait, I have to even hear him close it. Somebody goes to the mic and makes a motion to close the convention and he gavels it out. Your favorite speech last night?
I like Christie's. There was not a bad speech last night. Giuliani the day before hit it out of the park as a great speech. But we're talking about last night. Christie he accused, indicted, tried, and convicted Hillary Clinton publicly. And he had those people roaring, more, go to jail, off to jail. Say, I'll tell you what.
My sister said she was leading the chant, lock her up. She
Lock her up,
yeah, she was yelling it. So yeah.
Well, Christie, you said a minute ago that Christie
Check our audio, make sure
we'll have a job in this administration.
You're seeing the ones coming to the stage that will definitely be a part of the administration.
Ben Carson, I don't know what he'll do with Ben, but he can't do without him.
Let me tell you something. Speech from here to here. From here to here, the speech, Christie, or would you call it a speech, but his time, Christie maximized his time, okay, from here to here. The line of the night. Now, last night, you remember why Ben Carson was, for a period of time, the front runner. You remember why that speech.
Authentic.
He was not the guy that they make fun of with his eyes closed. He was on fire. This guy was enthusiastic. But the line of the night for me, all of them together, is Ben Carson had the nerve to stand with the American people and say Saul Alinsky and Hillary Clinton's hero is the devil. Saul Alinsky's hero was the devil, Saul Alinsky.
Was there ever any doubt about the courage of Ben Carson when he was at that prayer breakfast?
Sitting next to
the President of the United States.
Absolutely.
And told him he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And he did it. Nice words, not my words.
Exactly.
But he challenged that man right there and leapt to the front of the line as far as a potential
blue-collar billionaire Donald Trump. You couldn't hear it. But my sister said Donald Trump Jr. Came into their delegation. And he told the story. And he said, he was talking about his dad, and he said one time when he was young, when you start feeling you're bold, right?
Yeah.
He said his dad told him to get him a drink out of the refrigerator, and he told his dad to get his own drink out of the refrigerator. And the next thing he knew, he was pinned up against the refrigerator, and from that day on, he never said no to getting his dad a drink out of the refrigerator. Now, that's the report you're not going to get from anybody else. But he said he told his dad, he said, get your own drink out of the refrigerator. Donald Trump, he said, next thing I know, Dad had me pinned on the refrigerator. That never happened again.
There has to be somebody in charge.
Yes.
Somebody has to be in charge.
Lovely.
But he doesn't like yes men around him. If he has he doesn't need yes men around him, people who agree with him. Donald Trump actually needs people to discuss projects and give negatives. And he's going to have them in these people.
George, my sister said, while you were waiting to come on, she said that every station, they all line up, the radio stations, TV, they want to talk to the delegates, and she won't talk to them on the air because they only want to go after Melania's speech and party unity. And they're trying to come out saying the party's not unified. They're finding all the people they can to say the party's not unified and Melania's speech. She won't talk to them. They won't talk to her. You know why they won't talk to her? Greta Van Susteren gave her a Fox News pin, and she's wearing it everywhere, so they won't talk to her. So
that's like saying I have bubonic plague. Bubonic plague or something.
But that's all they want to know. They don't want no substance. The young lady, they make a big deal out of Donald Trump and his family. I'll never forget, Eric Erickson did not want Donald Trump around his daughter. Now, that young lady was nervous last night, but did you see Tiffany get up there, his daughter?
With courage,
Did
and
a good
aplomb,
job.
and did a plum. Yes,
She did a very good job. She wasn't there to be overly political. She just got out of college, but just to say that was her dad, and she was proud of her dad.
Exactly right.
And her a good job. Those 4 kids, no drinking, no drugs, straight up. Ivanka will come out Thursday night, and
Well, if everything else goes the way it's going, she'll hit another home run.
absolutely.
And they'll, of course, the left press will try to find how much it was plagiarized, or if it was plagiarized.
Oh, they're scanning all of them. But
Everything, but so is everybody else. Now, I have to say, a speechwriter should be in deep trouble on that team for not at least rearranging the words.
well,
But it's not a big deal.
I don't
She's
want to
not
say
a politician.
I could care less.
Yeah.
I will
they
tell
do.
you the
That's what's
difference.
in
I
the
will
news.
tell you the difference. She never said for the first time in her life she was proud of her country or whatever that quote was.
No, but she said she was proud to be an American citizen, the
Absolutely.
greatest country in the world.
Absolutely.
And,
And she didn't do like Michelle Obama. She didn't say anything you want, but there's 2 distinctions. She was proud to be a citizen of the greatest country in the world, and Michelle Obama for the first time in her life. So I don't want to go there. George, I know the speeches were great. It is abbreviated and you had a lot. We're going to do your final thoughts here in just a second. What about, my sister said there's a big talk on the split of Fox News on the floor and up there with this thing with Roger Ailes and now Megyn Kelly and Gretchen Carlson. There is talk that the right side of that Fox is going to split. That's on the floor up there. They're talking. I mean, delegates and
It's in the news, too.
It's all over that's a talk.
It's in the news too. If Ailes goes,
It's over.
if he's summarily thrown out by the Murdoch boys, several of the top people might go with him.
But I tell
And
you
top
what,
people, I'm talking Hannity possibly, Bill O'Reilly possibly. Not that I care that they go.
Steve Ducey.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Ducey's and Ailes guys in the morning. Now, I don't know about Brian Kilmeade, but if Brian Kilmeade, it's possible. But you got people like Judge Napolitano, you got people like O'Reilly, you got
How
Judge
about
Janine.
Bartolomeo or whatever her name is? I love to
I don't know.
I love
Yeah.
to listen to her. She's
But anyhow, there's
that's
uh,
business, Fox News business network.
Eric, what's his name on the 5? What's Eric's name? You know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
do. Yeah. The
But
former.
I don't know if they'll go immediately, but these are some strong Fox News. These are some strong Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes made millionaires out of a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Now they're all egotistical. They got these big egos.
I'm going to give Megyn Kelly. They said, well, she dumped on him. Well, all she said was he hugged me one time.
I think she said she didn't like the way he hugged her or something.
But that was all it was.
I'm not going to say. Now wait a minute. I want to be clear out there. I want to be very clear. If there is something in an harassment form that is taking place sexually with Roger Ailes, I do not want to say it shouldn't be reported or discourage reporting it in any way or advocate in any way that anything like that would be okay. I'm not saying that in any way. I'm just saying it's interesting to me. Here's the interesting fact to me. Ailes is very wealthy and powerful. Now just take this, very wealthy and powerful. He's the CEO of the number 1 news network in the United States. He took it from zero to hero, okay? He's facing problems now with women, that women that he may have sexually harassed.
He may have.
Okay, may have. Check out the timing. Right before the convention, ready to go, because the media wants to paint a billionaire that is very powerful, the CEO of a major corporation, has a problem connecting with women and is disrespectful to women. Now, I'm just saying, it's interesting that
Coincidence, yeah.
the coincidences and this is coming out. Fox News may break up over this.
first time something happens like that, and we always use this as a rule of thumb in my business. First time something like that happens, that can be a coincidence or an accident.
I agree.
Second time it happens, now that may be a coincidence. But if it happens a third time, that's enemy action.
Well, make America great again. Well, look, I've watched Fox News, so Roger Ailes has hugged a couple women.
So what?
Just say, don't hug me again, and smack him across the chops. Give him one across the chops. Say, don't hug me again. Right? That'll fix you.
You know what? Our society has moved from handshaking to hugging.
Well, you know what I like
to
last
hugging.
night?
We've moved from shaking hands to hugging. Now somebody hugs, and now they get criticized for it. Hey, I just don't know what where. At what point does we allow somebody else to decide what you did was sexist?
George, you're hitting a home run because I went to. This happened in the 90s, and it started in the 90s, and well, one of the problems that we had a disconnect with our children is we didn't hug them enough, and a disconnect with men is we always shook hands and stayed very firm. But what was wrong with giving a hug? And I went to a church.
That hugged?
I'm not upset with that. That's not a problem for me. But they wanted to hug all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that.
So long as they
but
hug
now,
with both arms.
Now that is a dividing line of hugging. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is an inappropriate way to hug a lady, and that's not right. There is an inappropriate way. So and you shouldn't do that.
Well, who decides what's inappropriate?
All right, let's move on. I mean, let's move on. We could. I don't want to get in trouble over this.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, I could get.
who's stopping
Let's
you?
not. I don't want to get in trouble over this. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, folks,
Right.
I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. And at this time, I like to save room. Now, George, we had an abbreviated time. So you take the floor. Would you like to share your final thoughts, or is there something else?
Well, we're going to talk about the politics of the Republican Party, and this is how I view it. Who runs the GOP now? There was this concerted effort by what some call traitors in the GOP to stop Trump. A fundamental disagreement is in play now about who runs or will run the Republican Party. On the larger scale, the crypto globalists, the Bushes, the Romneys, the John McCains, Lindsey Grahams, and others, the GOP's political elites, have killed their chances on holding on. They revealed their hand by not even electing to attend the grand spectacle of the GOP convention this week, like children in a snit. We can leave the explanation of how that is accomplished to the black-hearted governor of Ohio, John Kasich, who signed his pledge to support the GOP candidate, whoever that would be. He revealed their motives when he was asked if he would speak at the GOP convention on behalf of Trump, and his answer was hell no, or well no. I think it was hell no, but somebody put a W in it. He'd have to change everything that he says. We can't be attacking Muslims and Hispanics and trying to shut down trade and not caring about the debt. Those are all problems for me. And so it's not. I don't hold any personal animus towards Donald Trump. Yes, he does. He certainly does. We are just two companies that have different values, different directions, and different philosophies, end of quote. That attitude reflects exactly why the GOP is losing its popular flavor with its base in the new populist GOP, now in the throes of conversion by Donald Trump, will be assuming political control and replacing the old elites. It's been a long time coming, don't you think? The drama first played out in the rules fight started by the state of Washington delegation, who wanted to amend the rules so that states that held a closed primary could play a greater role in the selection process by allowing their delegates to vote their true feelings, just like the Democrats would do. All sorts of formulas were posited by different anti-Trump groups to make such an action possible, but the GOP leadership sensing at last the dire danger facing the Republican Party if Trump was dumped, stepped in and astutely quashed the rebellion. The GOP's Rules Committee, composed of those who run the party between the conventions, drafted the rules and were in no mood to see them altered by a parliamentary sleight of hand of the Never Trump crowd. The whole weird process of yelling and screaming, signed petitions and numbers count is controlled by the convention chairman, who relies on an approved parliamentarian who knows or should know the essences and the details of Robert's Rules of Order, inside out and backwards. There is a process. When committee members didn't agree to submitted amendments to the rules, it was thrown to the chatter of convention delegates to decide. Like herding cats, the convention chairman called for a voice vote and ruled the original rules adopted, followed immediately by the parliamentary sleight of hand ruling that a motion for reconsideration, which wasn't ever called for, by the way, was denied and without objection so ordered, and that just very quickly killed the whole process. That trick only works until the delegates realize they've been had, but by then it's too late. In this case, the chairman said he didn't hear any objection and attempted to move on to the next order of business. As it turned out, the process was delayed until Trump's people could meet some state delegations and convince them to reconsider their objections. 3 states did. The dispute was caused solely because the convention chairman didn't want, or wasn't going to, tolerate any objections from the floor. The decision was already settled, and like him or not, that there would be no opposition to Donald Trump in order to save the Republican Party. Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Save the Republican Party. Trump is now the GOP candidate for president of the United States. Never Hillary. Never, never, ever Hillary. And that's where the party is today. So we've got to coalesce and get busy. Remember, freedom is the goal. The Constitution is the way. Now, go get them.
Never Hillary. Folks, you heard a report from the floor. Thank you very much, George. I appreciate it. We're working all week to get a report from the floor. We don't want a report from any of the media that is spinning through some of these things going on. So we're getting a report right from the floor from a very important swing state. That's why we're focusing on a swing state, and you heard the report. But before I go on, let me remind you, at 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, the Scott Farrell Show. Scott is on here. He has some great guests. Huh? Look, look in my email. Look in my email. I keep getting told, look in my email. Folks, let me look in my email, George. I haven't, I apologize. I did not look. Let me look in my email. Everybody keeps saying, look in your email. Oh, look in my email. Oh, that's who it is, right? How you pronounce this gentleman's name? I don't want to, huh? Baylor? Baylor. Thomas Baylor is going to be his guest. Vocal arranger for the Partridge Family, Brady Bunch, songwriter for Cher, Michael Jackson, Billy Joel, and Frank Sinatra. This is who he's getting in? He composed the music for the movie Vegas Vacation. Really? An executive producer of Spielberg's Color. These are the kind of guests this guy's getting?
And you
Folks,
you got me.
And I got you. You and Lonnie. Lonnie's going to... I'm telling you, folks, you don't want to miss the Scott Farrell Show. He has things going on. This is going to be his guest today. Vocal arranger of the Partridge Family, Brady Bunch, and songwriter for Cher, Michael Jackson, Billy Joel, Frank Sinatra, composed music for movies Vegas Vacation, Mr. Papazito. You don't remember Mr. Papazito? You remember him, Lonnie? Forget it, Lonnie. I mean, I don't know what's up with him, folks. I'll try to figure it out. The Color Purple. That's his guest this morning. You don't want to miss the Scott Farrell Show. And another thing, Happy Days, Richie, How much time I got left, Lonnie? A couple minutes here.
7.
The important, Lonnie gave me 7 fingers. Lucky there's, he didn't give me all of them. Gary Marshall, right? That's his name. 81 died. And a lot of people remember Happy Days. Laverne and Shirley,
Yeah, with the fonts.
Huh?
With the fonts.
The fonts. He made what Henry Winkler, boy, made him famous. But Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, also the Pretty Woman, the director of Pretty Woman, and a show that I really love, The Odd Couple.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Marshall, yes, Gary Marshall, The Odd Couple. The list goes on, but he died. Just want to say something about that.
He was
Now,
in his 80s.
81 died.
81.
Yes, Penny Marshall,
You're
which
not
was
far.
Laverne.
So take care of your health. You wasted money.
Yeah, I know, but could you?
I'm just observing.
You want me to take it? Cause I'm not far. 81, and I'm not far.
Well, you,
Huh?
you keep talking about how
Well, you're
old
just
and
around the
ragged you are.
corner.
Yeah, well,
Just around the corner.
I'm a good person.
So what's
I'm in good health. Unless
rocking right along?
Yeah,
huh?
rocking right along.
Rocking right along. Mob justice, right on the Huffington Post. Mob justice convention consumed by anti-Hillary rage. Oh my gosh, Carson compares Clinton to Lucifer. You okay with that?
Lucifer? Yeah.
I'm okay
I
with
think
that.
he mistakes in the exact termination of the definition of the term, but
Well, Bobby Boucher said, what his mama said, everything's the devil, right? Foosball's the devil, right? Foosball's the devil. That Bobby, you ain't playing that foosball, are you?
anything
No,
you
mama.
get addicted to can be devilish.
Exactly. Ben Carson was on fire last night, but the mainstream media is just, they are going through the roof with this morning. They're all bent out of shape because they don't even want you to realize there is a devil. Oh, that went over the top, so you can't say devil, and they went over the top. Tonight will be a great lineup with Newt Gingrich. Has been a great show today. Folks, if you did not hear, we'll clip this, okay? We're going to call it The Truth in What's Happening at the RNC from a delegate's perspective. We'll have that clipped and put up. You're going to watch it. You're hearing all the spin of what's going on at the convention, what's happened, what's the scuttle. We've got a perspective right from the floor, right from Pennsylvania, a delegate that gets involved. Last night you heard that John Kasich was supposed to, you will not hear that anywhere else but here on this show, John Kasich was supposed to address the Pennsylvania delegation this morning. It got out. They organized, the delegation organized and said they would walk out of his address this morning, and he canceled. So there you go, folks. So that stuff you will not hear anywhere else. He did Mork and Mindy. I'm just looking at Gary Marshall. He did Runaway Bride, Pretty Woman, Happy Days, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley. The list goes on. I mean, really, that was a lot. The Fonz Happy Days, right? I got to get my Fonz t-shirt out. But that being said, we're out of here this morning. Don't forget, my guest tomorrow morning will be Judge Brenda Weaver, Chief Superior Court Judge of the Appalachian Judicial District. Brenda Weaver will be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. She will be our guest. There's been a lot of controversy around the so-called journalist jailed. I will be highlighting tomorrow, waiting for our delegate to call, I'll be highlighting tomorrow that Judge Weingarten, what some of the comments he made when dismissing the case. That'll be tomorrow. What else I got tomorrow? I got a lot going on tomorrow.
Did you get your camera in position in the jury box to view the tables?
Oh yeah, I got oh yes, absolutely. I was right where I wanted to be in the jury box. Channel 2 didn't like it because they can't stand. We're like the mosquito they can't get away from. The big guys can't, because here's what happens. And they're good people, but here's what happens with Channel 2 and Channel 5 and 11 and all of them. I go to all these things. Like when I go down to
State House?
when I go down there, the Speaker Ralston, always has a pre-session interview with the media day. All right, so everybody's there, and they're like, all these big AP is there, and all the elite media. Who are you? Fetch Your News. You know, they don't speak to me. But you know what? You know what they don't like? It's because they taught me this. Because the first time I ever went to one of these things, I didn't know what you do. So I seen everybody going like, Mr. Speaker, right? So I said, that's how you do it. You'll get boxed out. So now I blow the big boys out. Mr. Speaker, can I ask you a question? Right before. I always wait when he makes his opening statement, and I know right exactly when that last word's going. And they're like, they get ticked off. They look at me like, who's this little guy over here asking?
It's all timing.
Huh?
It's all timing.
It's also when they boxed me out with Ted Cruz. I made them so mad when I interviewed Ted Cruz, and I got questions. I got 2 questions, and then the lady said, no more questions. Oh, the AP, the Hill, they were all mad because I fired right at Ted Cruz and got 2 questions.
Maybe you'll get famous.
But I go down, I get in the jury box, right, and Channel 2 can't stand it.
I feel I had to free myself from feeling guilty, feeling responsible, like I was dirty. Who would want me? You know, it's all these things are in your head.
How could somebody do this to me and care about me in any way, shape, or form? I really must be nothing.
And that's what I feel that was taken from me. My virginity, my youth. You're never the same after that.
Darkness to Light's Stewards of Children program teaches adults to prevent child sexual abuse in families and in youth-serving settings, recognize the signs of sexual abuse in children, and react responsibly when they receive a disclosure by a child, when they discover sexual abuse, or if they suspect it. It also teaches adults how to intervene in the gray area when they see unsafe boundary violations by other adults or teens.
I had kind of a closed mind as to, why would nobody ever speak up of something like that? So seeing the stories or hearing the stories from the people it actually happened to, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit. You actually feel what they're feeling.
Having the testimonies and the statistics together, it just made it very real.
Stewards of Children uses documentary-style film in an impactful mix of adult survivors of child sexual abuse, experts who have a deep understanding of the issue, and professionals who serve children in youth-serving settings.
If I have a class, like a Sunday school class, a class of 6 kids, and one Sunday, 5 of them don't come, do I still conduct that class? Or do I now take that child and put that child in a class with other students? And to that degree, that's exactly what you do.
You have to ask permission. Look, I'm about to show you something. This is how the hips need to move. I can show you, and I'm going to put my hands on you right here and right here. Are you comfortable with this? If the answer is yes, you go forward and you do it. If the answer is no, I understand completely, no problem. This is what the visual is if I do it. So there is that boundary.
Well, to use the example of somebody who's holding a child on their lap or tickling a child and the child is clearly not comfortable. I think an adult could just say, hey, it looks like Sally's done with that game. Can we stop now? What we really advocate is describe the behavior, set a limit, and move on.
An interactive workbook and rich community discussion breaks down barriers and unites people, encouraging them to work together and support each other in creating safe environments for children.
And I say that in a way to say you, because we're in the training, but it is all our responsibility.
If you were put in that situation, what choice would you really make? And it reminds me that, I have an obligation of things that I need to do, and I need to be reminded of that. It is my problem, and I should be involved because I am obligated as a person, as an elder, as a leader in the community to do certain things. And
this type of prevention really eclipses all else. Our job is to educate students, but we can't educate students properly unless they come to us healthy, whole, and ready to learn.
We're going to look into the code of conduct, and we're going to make sure that everybody's doing what we can do to keep the community safe.
Some parents in my area, they believe that the topic is very taboo. They don't want to talk about it. I don't think they know how to talk about it. And so me being at this training will give me the tools that I need to take back to them.
Being that I coach football and basketball, I'll go back and look at those areas and try to eliminate one-on-one and even in the church, and also go back and try to change policies.
It's kind of this whole idea of the ripple effect that was just so strong that we won't even see the consequences until, unfortunately, much later.
More than anything, Stewards of Children enables people to courageously and skillfully get involved in something that's been a big taboo, a big area of denial, inaction, and pain in our society. And people feel really good about that victory on behalf of the children they love.
I lived through it, and I made up my mind that it was not going to define me, and that I was going to be determined that it wasn't going to happen to anybody that I knew, period.
No matter what, we all can face this issue. So we have to, bind together in order to get to the root of this problem and eliminate it.
And it's very important that we do our best to protect the ones we love and the ones that, are part of something that we provide.
It starts with just one individual. And if I can take it and give it to one more person and they can pass it on, then we got the ball rolling, and that's where we begin. And there's no ending, so hopefully we can make a difference.